live on YouTube. There we are. Good morning, Mañana Nomás, folks. This is Kurt Von Onen, your host of the Mañana Nomás morning check-in. And I guess I'm the host of everything else that's Mañana Nomás online. Welcome to your new week. Welcome to Monday. Looking super forward to this week. I've got a lot of things on my mind and a lot of things that are working back and forth, working all around. So a couple of things. And let me put my seat up a little bit higher. There we go. Felt like I was shrinking like a munchkin. So a couple of things. One, had a great weekend. Got out, mountain biked, went up Northridge. Northridge is kind of my weekend conditioning climb if I'm mountain biking. I go with Ken, still fresh Nagata, and he's got a friend named Sean. The two of them, take me up this hill. And every week I've been going out this last month and working on conditioning, whether that be climbing the next hill or adding a lot of miles and distance in a road bike ride. And so by using the two genres of bicycling, I'm able to work on both sets of fitness, right? The road biking is more like a cadence, a continuous speed kind of thing, right? So I think that works better for my, for stability, for longevity, right? If I were to think about, sustaining effort for a long time, the road biking does a really good job of that. The mountain biking, now I'll admit when we climb Northridge, it's 6 or 7 miles of just going up, right? But typically mountain biking is, a spurt, a break, a spurt, a break, a spurt, a break, right? And then of course, the fun coming down. So the mountain biking gives me that interval training that, athletes need where, you get your heart rate up, your heart rate down, your heart rate up, your heart rate down, your heart rate up, your heart rate down. And that does wonders for you as far as your fitness levels go. Today was a special day because my daughter asked if she could go mountain biking. So I decided to pick an easier route. And, I'm not saying she's unfit. I'm saying she doesn't normally mountain bike, right? So I picked an easier route and we went up through Skyline. We just did the first 2 turns. There's a little trail up there and it's super easy, unintimidating kind of thing. So you just kind of pop in, it goes around a couple little curves, couple little rocks that you go over, little things, right? You go boom, 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 right? And then you go through the S's. There's like a little dry creek. You go bloop, right through that. And then you come out at the bottom of the trail. And so I took Rainey out on that and that was fun. Some father-daughter time and to get out and do something, that I obviously love to do. And I'm hoping that, she can find some satisfaction in that as well. She's really big into the figure skating. And I tried to talk to her about, how mountain biking could really help with her fitness level as far as the skating goes, right? Being able to keep things moving and shaking on the ice. They're different muscle groups, but the conditioning, the fitness is important. And, I talk a lot about this conditioning and this fitness thing. And I always mention that I think that physical fitness is directly relatable to fiscal fitness. And I believe this 100%. And so the more I can get my kids into kind of a fitness lifestyle, whatever it is that they choose to do is fine. And that's what I tell the clients that are in the Mañana Nomás Academy. Whatever you choose, pick something you like and pick something you can put, everything into. Right. And so that's the way I say to do it. Right. Because if you don't like doing it, chances are you're not going to be able to force yourself to do it for an extended period of time. So pick something you like to do and then give it your all. Right. And then, your fitness will be a result of enjoying it and the passion and the excitement that you can put into it. Right. So really love that. So here we are on the podcast. It's Monday. I want to give a big shout out to one of our more recent podcast guests, Andrew Eggleton. I say Eggleton. He might say Eggleton. I'm not sure, but he's down in Australia. And that wonderful human being just had a son. Now, I should be strong. I should be clear. He didn't have the kid. Danny had the kid. His significant other, Danny Strong, I think is her name. She had the child. And the child's name is Leonardo. So if we could take a moment and just have a celebration, it's his first time being a dad. And as far as I know, it's his first time being a dad. And that's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I'm such a weirdo. I mean, I love the smell of babies. I just eat them up. Right. So congratulations to him. Having a newborn in the house is phenomenal. I know the child was a little premature, but healthy. And once he gets up to his weight or whatever it is, they're going to send him home, and that'll be great. And then that leads me to my next question. Now I'm going to sound really weird on this one. Okay. But I use these morning check-ins to tell you what's on my heart and what's going through my mind, right? I see the world going upside down on the COVID crisis. I see hundreds of doctors jumping online and being censored for their opinion. I see patients of these doctors talking about their recovery through COVID using the hydroxychloroquine regimen with zinc and the Z-Pak or whatever that was. Again, I'm not a doctor, right? But as a human being that uses critical thinking, I say to myself, hundreds of doctors and hundreds of patients are putting information out there saying these are our experiences with this issue, and they're being completely censored, right? Completely censored, which I think is absolutely bizarre. As a person that's been turned down for work in the last month because of his skin color, I can tell you that the political climate right now is a little weird. Okay. But to discredit or to act like people are spreading disinformation for sharing their experience, that to me is really, really weird. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. And if I were to share with you my experience of not living close to Christ and then the difference of living close to Christ, would I be censored? And would that be called disinformation because Jesus is an imaginary person to some people, or is Jesus not, I consider Jesus to be the Son of God. Other people might not think he's the Son of God. So would I be censored? Would this video be taken down because I'm speaking of my experience with my faith? These are real questions to ask yourself right now. And I have no idea if this number is correct or not, right? But someone threw up this thing, and I say someone, but it's been on multiple channels. 800,000 kids go missing. 800,000, minors, children go missing or become sex trafficked in the United States. I have no idea. I mean, I think 800,000, that's an awful lot. But we locked down our country for 100,000 people dying of the flu, COVID flu. I don't know why I'm using air quotes. I shouldn't use air quotes, but it's, we shut down our whole economy for the COVID crisis. And I wouldn't want to believe the Epstein, Maxwell, Clinton, Tom Hanks, all these people. I wouldn't normally want to believe that stuff, except I go back to the Harvey Weinstein example. And when you see how many people of influence, how many people that we considered leaders knew exactly what was happening in Harvey Weinstein's office, knew exactly what was happening in Harvey Weinstein's hotel rooms, but chose to turn a blind eye, chose to look the other way and let somebody buy people with non-disclosure forms rather than sending somebody to prison. And that to me that's been one of the strangest things for me to understand as I think about this political thing that's going on. You might want to say political or legal or whatever, but Harvey Weinstein raped a bunch of people. And a lot of people knew about it, but it went nowhere because they wrote checks and signed NDA forms instead of prosecuting somebody for a crime. And that's where I kind of get really blown out of proportion here. So if this Epstein thing and Maxwell and the Clintons and this, if that were all true, and all of these kids are really going missing and getting trafficked and being subjects of child pornography and all these things that we're hearing these horrible stories about, why on earth are we not pursuing that with more vigor? That many kids going missing or being abused is a whole lot more important to me, quite honestly, than some old folks catching an infection in a retirement home. And that sounds cold and calloused and crappy. I know how that sounds, but it's weird. I think it's weird. Like our priorities seem to be really kind of askew there. So how do I keep myself from getting all spooled up? And why do you not see this all over my social feed? Because I'm on the net a lot of my time, right? So all this stuff's coming into my news feed all the time, just like it's coming into yours all the time. So how do I keep myself over this? Well, I'm creating new courses. So I've got 3 new courses that are hitting the Mañana no Mas Academy very, very soon. I've got one that I'm working on right now for goal setting. The reason I like this particular goal setting course is I already have one on goal setting. I've one called Goal 365. It's an amazing course. But the Goal 365 course basically is a year-long course, and it gives you all these ways to come up with your goals and then isolate your goals, categorize your goals, and pursue your goals. It's a rather involved course. The new one that I'm putting up, goal setting, I'm calling it goal setting, the short version. The short version is more direct. It's like how to help kids set goals. Should employers help employees set goals? Bam, bam, bam. And each lesson is fairly short, and it's more clear cut, I think, and gets people to an action point quicker than the Goal 365 course. The Goal 365 course would be like one to take after this, if that makes sense. If you go, man, I really want to get into this goal setting, I really want to dive in, and I want to extrapolate the concepts. Well, then you want to take the Goal 365 course after the goal setting course, if that makes sense. And I'm going to put all that information in the academy so people don't get confused. So I've got that. And then I've got a couple of other courses that I'm working on right now, and they're really relatable to the time we're in now, about how to avoid distractions, how to avoid stressful events, how to stay focused on the positive when the negative is trying to push its way in. And it's super, super important to me that, and here's the deal. Those things that I mentioned earlier, right? Whether you're for Trump or for Biden, whether you're for an independent or you're going with one of the parties, no, like whether you doesn't matter. You're employed, you're unemployed. You're essential, you're non-essential. You're working in an office, you're remote. All these things come at us, and it's how do you overcome that, or what's your strategy to overcome that? And that's kind of where I try to put my focus and my attention. So I hope that you have a wonderful Monday, and stay productive, get out and get something done, and pay attention to the Mañana no Mas Academy, because we'll be having new courseware available. And as you already know, or hopefully know, there's a couple of free courses on there to get yourself started. If you're new to online training, you can jump in and you can take, the one I really like is called Embrace the Process. That's a great one to sample. It is free. It's no charge. It puts you into our system, and it will also get you enrolled in our newsletter. So you'll see the newsletter come out about once a week or so. I try not to spam people, but about once a week or so, you get a newsletter, and it try to keep you up to date on new courses, new events, new happenings, and things like that. So God bless. Have yourself a wonderful Monday, and I'll catch up to you later. Bye-bye.